Hi, guys. Welcome to Soul Sessions Part 2. We are here tonight to do the card reading. For those of you who were trying to watch us last night for Soul Connections, thank you. I did do the healing meditation and the clearing, even though the video cut out. I was still in it and still clearing for the group. So for those of you who connected to part of it, you still got a good chunk of healing because I went through the whole energy system. But tonight we're going to do the card draw for those of you who missed out on it yesterday and those who are just chiming in today. And you guys know the drill, if you put in yes, please, we'll pull your card for you. I do have a list from yesterday. I'm not positive it's complete. So even if you put in a request yesterday, put it in again today because we're going to actually draw today's people first. And then we will do everybody else that I have on my list. And, the way to get this out there is to like and share it or love and share it. And even if you just share it with one person who maybe would like some insights, some, divine messages or some guidance, send it out to them because this would be great to connect with them. And I am here in Southern Maine with my savvy assistant, Christina, who's going to help me keep track of the names and stuff like that from yesterday if I need it. And we're going to use a different deck this week. And I forgot the box, but it is the Druid Craft Tarot deck. And it's by Philip and Stephanie Carr-Gom. And I love this deck. It has a very goddess feel to it. And it aligns relatively well with the original tarot deck for those of you who know the meanings. But because it has a lot of the divine feminine energy, the cards read a little bit differently. And it also has sort of a medieval kind of fun flair to it. So let's see how that works for you guys tonight. So I'm just going to tap into my fabulous Neshi to see where we're at. And she's going to get us started when she's ready because I know she was liking and sharing and making sure everything was happening. But my cards are itching to be read. All right, so let's start with Christine Pollock. All right, and your card, my dear, is the Two of Swords. I'm actually going to see if I can get the light to go up a little bit brighter. There we go. So the Two of Swords in this particular deck is really about lots of times our emotions get in the way. And emotions are a great thing. I'm a very strong feeling person. But there are times when we need to make conscious decisions. And that happens when we need to sort of put our logic brain on and use that. So this is saying, really close down those seeing eyes, use your intuition to make the logical choices. And what I'm seeing for you is that, there's some stuff that's got you spinning, and that happens to the best of us. And when we get spinning in that energy, it's really hard for us to think, let alone stay grounded. And we were talking about that earlier today. The energy right now is very ungrounding as we go into spring equinox and the full moon next week. And so everybody's feeling a little bit wobbly. And so it's saying, don't worry about what you see, but really tap into your intuition and let the logic of that dictate what you're doing. I feel like you need to make some very clear, precise decisions. And it's hard when you're very much an emotional being. You're a very strong emotional being, but this is time for you to kind of use your organization, your logic to make those choices. Okay. All right. Now let's see who's next. Pat McDonald. All right. Nice. Your card is the Eight of Swords. And the Eight of Swords is a great one. because this card is very in tune with the fact that lots of times we get spinning, right? Kind of like I was saying to Christine earlier. And when we're spinning, it's because we think we're sort of bound and held. If you can see in this, she's wrapped up. She's got something over her eyes and something over her hands. And she's got all these swords around her that look like a cage. Except if she feels the cage, she's the one who created the illusion. The bindings are all loose. And so these are kind of like, if things seem a little out of sync and a little difficult for you right now, it's all an illusion. It's your survival brain, your lower self, your ego, whatever you want to call that, your inner critic, creating these stories for you to feel anxious and nervous and like things have to be done quickly and you feel caught like you don't have any choices. That is an illusion created by your brain. And that is the farthest thing from the truth. If you take off the blinders, you can see that there's room to move around those swords, room to walk through them easily. You're not caged in, you're not stuck in a box, really. So this is all about you being in a place where you can make some choices knowing that you're not as stuck as you think you are. And other people don't have control. If you just take a deep breath, you'll see the illusion around that and you'll be able to take action from there. All right. Tino, War Bonnet. This is a night for swords, I guess. This is the Ace of Swords. And I love the aces because they're all gifts from the divine. So the Ace of Swords is basically handing you back your personal power. And it's saying, here is your weapon to move forward with. And not in a adversarial kind of way, but it's like, when we have our sword in hand, we feel like we can take action that we need to. We don't need anyone else. And this sword is very much kind like Excalibur, right? It's a divine sword and it's allowing us to wield it for justice. And so when you get the Ace of Swords, it's really saying that any of these like concise decision kind of things that you need to make and things that you need to take action on, I feel really strongly that you're advocating for some other people, maybe a little younger people. And that is the divine handing you the sword of justice to help and take action for people who don't have a voice. So this is a really powerful card for you. It's not a soul card, but for some reason it feels almost that intense. So let me know about that because that sounds really cool. All right, Ashley Fox. You got the Queen of Cups. And the Queen of Cups in this deck is really about, I don't know if you can see that, there's the sun above her. And she's got one toe in the water, which is always an indication that she is in control of her emotions. She lets her emotions rule her decisions, and it allows her to be the star that she's meant to be. So when you are feeling in a place of overwhelm or something like that, it's reminding you that your emotions are your guide and you are in charge of them. No one else can make you feel anything. They're an indication of boundaries that need to be set for you and for other people. And when you're frustrated or aggravated, probably someone has crossed your boundaries or you allowed them to. So really check into your emotions and let them be the guide for all your decision making, because you have a lot of strength there. You have a lot of empathic ability around that. All right, Gina Gons. All right, your card is the Five of Wands. And the Five of Wands is a little difficult because usually it means you're going through a phase of where you're butting heads with other people. But it's not a battle per se. It's more of you all have your own opinions, and maybe there's just a tiny bit of stubbornness in there. And so it just means that you're going to have to clash heads a little bit. You're going to have to stand up for yourself. It's not something that's going to be you know, make or break kind of thing. The card is very much in a playful way that you're sort of testing each other. But just know that this period right now, and it feels very short, like a few days, where you're just gonna have to deal with some people who don't share the same opinions as you, and it may be hard to come to a compromise, but hold your own energy, hold your own belief system, don't compromise on that, and then it gives you all a space to hear each other and not have to act against each other, if that makes sense. So it's a little bit of headbutting for a few days. All right. Jackie Long Najowski. I'm sure I just said that wrong and I apologize. Yours is the Princess of Pentacles. And so the Princess of Pentacles, she has a very young energy. And the pentacles are usually connected to wealth. They're connected to our stability. And so a princess is someone who's setting out on their own journey, and they're really checked into, um, they have their own resources, and they're learning to step out on their own. They're not quite a queen yet because they don't have that full confident, I'm in charge, everybody needs to listen to me. There's a little more of a tentativeness as she's taking her step forward. But she's thinking really hard about it. So she's making sure that she knows she has the stability to start this new journey. She has the resources and the skills. And she just needs to put a little more confidence behind it. And this is a great time to tap into your spiritual team and help them fill those little corners where your self-confidence might be just a little less than you would like it to be, to get things done the way that you want. All right. Anne, I never know how to say your last name. Con, yeah, sorry. I'm just gonna you'll have to give me a lesson later, Anne. So your card, sweetie, and I know you've had a little rough one, and this shows it. This is the Tower card. And the Tower card is one of the major arcana. It's one of the soul cards. And the Tower talks about the fact that sometimes we have to get that cosmic 2x4. And in the Tower card, it's a divine lightning strike that hits the top of the tower. And when it hits the building, it knocks the people out. And it's an indication usually that we've been stuck in a particular pattern, doing things a particular way, and we've been thinking too small. And so the divine is like, you need a bigger box. You need a bigger box. You need to step out of your comfort zone. And we don't listen and we don't listen. And then they sort of force us out of the box. They take the box away, they knock us on our fanny, whatever it is. But it's sort of cosmic 2x4 is how I see it. But it's always an indication that you are ready to grow bigger and fuller spiritually. And so they love you enough to knock you down. And so call on your spiritual team to help you pick you up and help you create the next tower for you to live in energetically so that you can really match who you are with where you're going, because you were playing a little small, a little cautious, and yeah, they were a little tired of it. I've had the Tower card so many times in my life, so I feel for you as that comes through. All right, Laura Yen Solido. Yours is the 10 of Wands. Geez, rough week, guys, as we head into spring equinox and the full moon. The 10 of Wands is an energy of feeling overwhelmed, overburdened. You're carrying everybody else's stuff and it's weighing you down. So basically, energetically, you're like a pack mule for other people. And so this is a time to say enough's enough. I'm not going to do that for you anymore. It's not fulfilling for me. And this is sort of the energy for the week. So just be aware of that sensation of feeling really lethargic, really tired, and really heavy. And it usually means you've taken on responsibility. You've said yes to a number of things that now you're wishing you said no to, and it's really dragging your energy down. So do the best you can to hand back the responsibilities that other people have given you, because they weren't really yours to begin with. And you can lovingly say, I know I said yes, but I don't really have time to give this my best effort. And gently hand it back and see how that goes for you. But I have a sensation like this might be your energy for about a week. But really use the full moon and the equinox next week to kind of propel you forward out of that energy. Okay? All right, Julie, Shumway Hill. You have the 10 of Cups. Now, the 10 of Cups is very different from the 10 of Wands because the 10 of Cups is a celebration. The 10 of Cups is all about just having a really strong family connection, a really loving interaction with other people and it's like having plenty. You have plenty for yourself, you have plenty to share, but it's not about money. It's much more about love and support and joy in being each other's company. Cups are about emotions. So it's like you are filled up emotionally with this wonderful feeling of family and togetherness. And so yeah, tap into that. Um, my little Irish is like, oh, celebrate St. Patrick's Day together, but it just has that really family celebration feeling for you. So enjoy that. All right. All right. Emily Colucci Peak. And I apologize if I'm saying names wrong, guys. Just doing the best I can. So you, my dear, have the King of Pentacles. So now a king has a very strong, determined, masculine energy. They don't take baloney from anybody else, and they are very much the ruler. And not in a loving, nurturing way, but in a very my way or the highway. And the King of Pentacles really has all the things that he needs. He has all the wealth, he has all the stability he needs to rule his whole life. So this feels like you sort of stepping into owning that you've got everything you need to rule your life. You don't need to look for anyone else's opinion. You don't need to ask other people what they think. You already know. So start being super confident and sharing that. And it will allow you to kind of give off this energy of mastery that maybe you haven't been owning. And it feels like, yeah, like you've been hiding a little bit your abilities or your power. So now it's time to really step in. And that's why they are giving you the king card instead of the queen card, because the queen will do it in a soft and nurturing way. And this needs to be more like a karate chop, that I make the decisions. It's my life. I don't need to ask anyone else. Starting to have a theme around that. All right. Susan Lilia. Another 10. Must be a night for tens. So the 10 of Pentacles. So while the 10 of Cups was about emotions, the 10 of Pentacles is about stability, having your own back, having your own wealth, having your own control over your own life. And in the 10 of Pentacles, you have plenty. You have plenty for you. You have plenty to share with other people that you care about. And it's really not a concern. So your job's not a concern. Money's not a concern. And so for that kind of energy, you can be at peace, which is a nice thing to have. You know, that we're not stressed out about it. It's like it is what it is, and I don't have to worry. So what a great energy for you this week. Nice. All right, Jackie Fitzpatrick. So yours is one of the major arcana. It's called Rebirth. So these are one of the soul cards. And the rebirth is you've been through a lot lately. You've been through a big soul lesson. And now you've come to a place of completion around this lesson. And in the ending of that lesson, a new version of you is being reborn. You know, you're stepping into, you know, Jackie 2.0, and it's like an upgrade, an energetic upgrade. And it's the rebirth energy is you really feel full of yourself in a beautiful way. You feel really connected with your soul, with your spiritual team, and you have a sense of you've made it through something difficult, a difficult lesson, and now you've come out the other side, a brand new person. And so this is going to last for you for a little while. It's going to last into the early spring. And after early spring, you'll be stepping into a new lesson. So take the time to really appreciate and breathe in the relaxation of having done a good job, completed something lovely, before the next challenge comes up. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. You know, the lessons are to help our soul grow. But I see that sort of like a little later in the spring. All right. Bobby Crape. You have the 6 of Pentacles. A lot about Pentacles today. So the 6 of Pentacles is very much the Apprentice card, where you have been learning something and now you're starting to understand it in a way that you can share your knowledge with others. And whether you share like physical wealth with others, which a lot of people see Pentacles as being, but the apprentice is sharing their knowledge and their gifts with others and being helpful. And so that's what I'm seeing, like you sort of spreading your wisdom around and helping people who have questions, who are sort of like new on the path, and giving them a hand up. And this is sort of where you start to own yourself. You're moving from an apprentice to a master. But to move from an apprentice to a master, you really need to be out there actively sharing your knowledge, so that there are people who are looking to you for wisdom. So it's time for you to start doing that. Nice. We need you. All right, Andrew, my buddy Andrew. All right, the soul card for you as well. It's the moon. Woo! Full moon coming. So the moon is very much about like looking at our soul from the perspective of a journey. And for you in the moon, like lots of times things go wrong and we talk about, you know, you're howling at the moon. You know, you're like, why me? Why is this happening to me? Yeah, it doesn't work very well. when we are in the moon energy, it's time to call on our spiritual team, especially the goddess energy, because she really rules the moon. And learn how to reconnect with all parts of yourself. And the moon shines light into the darkness. So, anywhere where there's been heavy feelings or moments of despair, remember that you have the ability to call in the light to shine into those nooks and crannies where the darkness sometimes hides. So instead of hollering, why me? You ask for those places to be lit up so you can see the truth rather than make assumptions by what you can't see that's hidden in the dark. All right. Mary Anderson Frey. Oh, another one of the soul cards. This is the Lover's card. Kind of like this one in this deck. It's a little spicy. They're hanging out in the woods. And I don't know if you can see there's a deer in the background, and that's very significant because that's the spirit animal. So the lover's energy is that you are very entwined with someone else, whether they're a lover or not. It can be but it's a very codependent, wrapped around each other energy where rather than feeling like two separate people, you're sort of entwined as one. You kind of lose your identity in this energy. So the deer is standing off on the side, reminding you, your spiritual team is there looking at you, for you, reminding you that even though you're entwined with this other person, you're really two separate individuals. And we lose that a lot. We lose our voice with certain people. We don't speak up for ourselves, and we get caught up in the emotions of having a good friend or a good lover or a new business opportunity, and we don't make rational decisions. So the deer is reminding you to have a good lookout on things and to be cautious and to call on your team to help you so that you are thinking clearly and fully in this time. All right. Maureen, my lovely lady. All right. This fits us right now, sweetie. It's the Three of Pentacles. So the Three of Pentacles is very strong indicator that you're in the process of building your spiritual temple, your place of worship, and you're basically the foundation for your spiritual practice. You are really evolving what that's looking like. You know, it had a certain flavor for a certain amount of time, and now it's like time to grow, time to stretch, time to get out there and be bigger and fuller, which you are doing. And so they're showing you that, you know, part of your job right now is to like really build that foundation, really have it match up with your values, your ideas, and what you believe in and how you want to bring your gifts to the world. And there are plenty of people who are standing there waiting to see what that looks like and who are willing to follow you in your new path. So get to it. Nice. All right, Susanna Creel. Another soul card. This one is the Lord. Little different in this deck. So the Lord energy is very similar to like the Emperor. And you're in this spot in your soul lesson where you're going to need to be completely in charge. And that means there's no asking anybody else for opinions. You need to make the decisions. You are the one who is going to take action. And I encourage you to remember the difference between taking action and reacting to others. Because when we react, we throw our soul's energy backward. And when we take action, we move forward on our spiritual path. And it's a light distinction, but you know when you're taking action because you have time to breathe, when you make a choice and make a decision. When you react, it comes out of your mouth almost before you know you're going to say it. So just watch for that, because that is part of the soul lesson. And the Lord takes time. He sits on his throne and he hears everything he needs to hear, and then he chooses. So that's where you're at, sweetie. All right. Okay. Jessica Gonzalez. We have the Four of Pentacles for you, my dear. All right. And the Four of Pentacles is, that you have accumulated your own personal treasure and you've kind of kept it under lock and key. And often when I see this card, it's a symbol that you have spiritual gifts that you're not using. You're like, you've kept it locked up. You're like, I don't want to do that. I don't want anybody to know I can do that. And trust me, I did that with my divine abilities, my mystical abilities, my healing abilities for a while. And it really caused a lot of physical symptoms for me. It emotionally put me through the ringer. And in the end, it was causing more harm than good, trying to keep them, in check or trying to control them. It was a lot more liberating when I decided to control my gifts rather than them controlling me. And so when you keep all of that under lock and key, eventually it's going to burst open and you're not going to have a lot of control around that. So they're your treasure, they're your gifts. The divine gave them to you to use for a particular reason and to do something big for the planet. So time to get to it. All right. I thought I read for her. Hold on. Nope.
That was Emily.
Who's next?
No, Marie is next. You read for Emily.
Marie. I read for Emily. Okay. Now she's talking to me to help keep me clear. All right. So Marie Colucci Verkamp. Close enough. Your card, my dear. You guys need to send me like it written out how I should say it, like you would in a dictionary. So yours is the Five of Pentacles. And the Five of Pentacles is when we start stressing out about money, when we're worried about whether there's enough. The fives are all about things being out of balance in our lives. And so often with the Pentacles, we're worried about money, we're worried about our job, we're worried about paying for things, we're worried about getting a raise. So what the Five of Pentacles is reminding you is that do your best to take the worry and the anxiety out. Turn to your spiritual team and ask for what you need. Be really clear and really concise about this is what I need. This is what needs to get paid. This is what my family needs. And then allow it to happen. Really release any doubt, because when we bring doubt in, then everything slows down. And it feels very short term, but I feel like it's also a pattern that you sometimes get into. And we all have ones where we like stress about things. And this seems to be like you might be heading into that cycle for a little bit, which can happen in the springtime as we're sort of kind of coming out of hibernation energy. We're like, oh no, is there going to be enough? So really do your best to breathe through that and let that go. All right. Valerie Porenta. Yours is the 10 of Swords. So the Ten of Swords, I don't know if you could see that. I'm going to hold it up there a little longer. Can you see how he's on the ground and 10 swords in his back? Done. Just done, right? So some people freak out and think that's like the death card. Um, for me, this is like, this situation is over. It's done. It's complete. You've tried everything, every way. Cut it out. Stop. And when a situation is done, there's always the new horizon. It's, you can focus on the sun setting or the sun coming up. And depending on the picture, you don't always know which it is, right? But are you focused on the negative or are you focused on the positive? So when a situation is done, and this is like done, you need to just let it go and start moving forward, because something brand new is coming in that's even more amazing than you could ever imagine. But you've tried your hardest and your best to make this thing work, and it just can't work. So try to let it go, okay? Because it's done. Can't say that enough. It is completely done. All right. Cara Pesavento Buyers, maybe. Um, your card is the King of Cups. So the King of Cups is another one where it's a king, right? He is in charge of his castle, but the cups is about emotion. So the king is in charge of his emotions. So he allows himself to feel them, but maybe not for them to overrun him. He uses his intuition to guide him and to set him on the right path, but he's in charge, completely in charge. So it sounds like you need to have that balance of the masculine doing and no holds barred energy and that softness. So think of, that, we don't often see soft male leaders, but that's what I'm seeing as your energy. And even when we're a female, we sometimes have to call in the male decisive, maybe a little more aggressive energy, because we've tried to be nice and do it the nice way and tried to be everybody's friend, and that doesn't work very long. Sometimes we have to kind of put really strong boundaries and really strong rules in place for us to be able to move forward. And that's what I'm feeling for you. All right. Marilyn Lewis. Your card is the Princess of Swords. So again, the princess is a younger, lighter energy. She's about to embark on this quest. And so when we have the sword, it's all about her learning how to take her own power, take back her own power. It's not so much that she lost it. She's just never had an opportunity to fully stand in it. And so you're being invited to start standing in your own power. And that can be a little scary at first. But gosh, we all need to do that. I think that should be the message for the entire group. It's time for you to stand in your own power. That was a big message last week. But this one is a gentle one for you. It's here's the gift of your power. You can have it back. Nobody else needs to carry it for you. It's yours to carry. And how are you going to journey with your own power now? And it's always time for us to let go of our victim energy when that card comes up too, because we can't be a victim and stand in our power. Okay? All right. So Genevieve S. Griffin, you have the Six of Cups. What a lovely card. So the Six of Cups is it's a time of reminiscing. It's a time of when we're connecting to, what does your inner child want? What does your inner child, what is it trying to say to you? Does it want more time to play? Does it want more fun, excitement, adventure? And it's time for you to sort of be the mother to your inner child and give them space to stretch and grow. And we often, let our inner child carry our trauma for us. And when that happens, if we get overtired or we haven't eaten, we get super cranky, like the Snickers commercial. Um, so, this is reminding you that your inner child is a huge part of you, a huge voice of you. And it's time for you to just pay attention and see what they need. All right. Jason Byers, you have the Eight of Wands. All right. And the Eight of Wands is an interesting card because when this comes in, it's after the battle. There's been a lot of battle energy with you, with other people possibly around you, or just in society in general. And you've collected a bunch of weapons that you can use, and it's up to you whether you're going to use them against other people or you're going to use them to strengthen yourself. It's kind of up to you. There's two reads to this card often. It's whether you're the one who's standing in the power of holding all the weapons after the war, or it's the war is over and somebody kind of snuck in and took away the power of the other people. But I don't get that from you. I feel like you've been storing up your power, and just haven't used it yet. Sound familiar? Um, so it's time for you to take action, but maybe not in a warrior kind of way, in a more peaceful, playful way. All right, Rob. Nice. Prince of Wands. Moving forward on a journey of knowledge. Sound familiar, sir? So I know that you have been really starting to search for some new answers, for some new mentorship and new ways to kind of move forward on your spiritual path. And it's showing that sort of impulsive, like, let's get on the horse and just ride, even though we don't have directions. And so it's on that quest for knowledge. And so there's this big urge to just like really dive in and find out new things and really journey forward. And it's part of your path right now, to be in that energy. And a prince is pretty fearless, because they're not worried about money or anything else. They're just worried about the adventure. So try to think of this time where you're collecting new knowledge to be another stage of adventure for you, another phase of your life. So cool. I like that. All right, Julie. Ah, dear. Soul card, the Hanged Man. Ah, that one. I love when I get that one. You know this. You know the drill. The Hanged Man is encouraging you to take a look at this from a different perspective. You feel very caught in your energy in a particular way, like maybe there's not another answer, not a way out. And it's all because you've been looking at it from the same eyes of the soul that created it. So often it helps to get another person's opinion, another person's point of view. And it's not to abdicate your power, but sometimes we get stuck in seeing only one possibility or two possibilities. And when we talk to other people, then you get to brainstorm and you get to have a bigger vision of who you are. So it's time for you to change perspective on you, on your soul's journey. Because I think you're tired of being stuck. Um, I know I get tired of being stuck. And so let's get that energy moving forward for you and call on some people that you really trust and admire to give you some insight. And then you can do the favor for them when they're ready. All right, Amy Daniels. Yours is the Queen of Wands. A lot of royalty tonight. Queens, kings, princes, princesses. Nice. So the Queen of Wands is, she had all of her power is from knowledge. And she uses her knowledge to help others, to help people in her kingdom. She's seen as a wise woman. She's seen as an elder. You would go to her, like Julie would go to an Amy to ask for like help in change and perspective. So really own that part of you, that is a wise woman who has wisdom that can be shared with other people. Because sometimes we get caught up in the things that we don't know and we don't honor all that we do know. And one of my mentors said to me when I was talking about teaching, and it made me anxious, that I was going to teach my first healing class. And she just said, you only need to know more than your students. And the divine will always send you the students who need to learn exactly what you need to teach. And that's what I feel like, that you are ready to sort of mentor and help some other people and share the wisdom, because there's a lot of people who are spinning and confused right now and could use a little help. All right, nice. Cindy Lynn, another royalty card. Princess of Cups. So the Princess of Cups, again, the princesses they're new on their journey. So the princess is holding her cup with all her emotions and she's journeying out and she's using her intuition to guide her. So this is reminding you right now, use your intuition to guide you. This is not a time for you to be fully like logic brain. It's the truth is going to come when you can feel it, when you can sense it. And remember that your feelings are really good indicators of what's okay for you and what's not okay. So pay attention to those signals that your body and your team are trying to send you. And the princess has this carefree energy. So just be a little bit cautious as you're going forward, that you're paying attention to all of your emotions, not just the ones that you like to feel. Because if you're holding back anger or you're holding back sadness and that's trying to come through, then you're not using the full scope of your intuition when you're choosing what you're doing. All right, Minnie. You have the Fool card. How nice. Time for you to journey forth on a new soul's lesson. And the Fool is just not a fool, like it's not foolish. I don't see a fool that way. I see a fool as they've got no worries, they've got no cares. They're just stepping forward. And other people who might be like, watch where you're going, you should be afraid. And the Fool is just like going for it. So you're stepping into this new journey in your life and this new set of lessons. And in this place, just give yourself space to discover what's out there. Because that's part of the Fool's energy. It's like a child's energy. It's like there's wonderment and things to discover, and pay attention to all the little signals. I'm seeing like you in nature and like talking to fairies and trees and and it's like you're all on this journey together. It seems very sweet. I love it for you. All right, Kimberly Griffiths. You have the Nine of Swords, my dear. So this is a tough energy to have right now. The Nine of Swords is often referred to as the dark night of the soul. We all go through it. The dark night of the soul is when we have pleased other people until we don't even feel like we exist anymore. So it's like you feel overburdened, you feel overstressed, and you've lost your version of you. You're not really lost, but it has that sensation. You feel like you're lost. Like, who am I? And in that place of who am I, you realize that there's many, many people who have told you who you're supposed to be. And you tried to be that, but it didn't feel like you. And now you've gotten to a place where you're really trying to shed all those other visions of what other people think you should be and really step into who you are meant to be. And so this can feel very heavy. It can feel very lonely. Um, but it's a big expansion in your soul's growth, because the biggest way to own who you are is to know who you're not. And so that has to happen in those energies of the dark night of the soul. And I don't feel like this is a long-term thing for you, but it might be a couple weeks. And again, really do those things to go inward and meditate. Talk to your spiritual team. And remember, your team will always use words of kindness, and they'll speak concisely. If it makes you feel bad, it's not your spiritual team talking to you, because they only talk with love. All right. All right. Mary, I can never say your last name. Szarowicz. I should be able to say that. It's probably Polish or some version of that, because we have a lot of the WICZs out in my area. So you have the Prince of Cups, another royal card. All right. So the Prince of Cups is on a new journey, and he is looking to be one with his emotions, be one with his intuition. And so it feels like you're really stepping into that new place for yourself, where you are really trying to live your life guided by your intuition, and using your heart, letting your heart speak to you. That is a big, big deal. And it may not be one of the soul cards, but it is an aspect of a soul's mission, because we have to listen to ourselves and listen to our team. And we can hear what other people say to us, but if it doesn't resonate as our truth, then it's not meant for us. And so that's where you're headed. You're on that space. So I'm really proud of you. So use that intuition and let it guide you, because that's where you're meant to be. All right, that's all that we have. Sorry, I moved that. That was the last card that we had written down in the house. Christina, my magic assistant, is bringing me the rest of the list of people who asked for it yesterday. All right, so let's start with Joanne Salo, Salo. So I have for you, my dear, the Queen of Swords. Another royalty card. So the Queen of Swords, she's in charge of her own kingdom again, and she's in charge of her own personal power. And she's doing it from there's nobody above her. So she's not adventuring to just start to own her personal power. She's clearly in power, and everybody knows it. So it sounds like you have to step into some of that energy where you are in charge and need to sort of lay down the law that, um, other people have to, listen to you, respect you, and hear what you're trying to say. It feels very much like you're in this space where you're opening your throat chakra, you're using your power, you're speaking your truth, and it may not be coming easily to you, because sometimes it takes a little bit of practice for us to get good at that. But it's all right. Keep doing it, because that's exactly who you're meant to be. All right. Michelle Suzanne, your card is the Two of Pentacles. So the Two of Pentacles is an energy where things may feel like they're a little bit up in the air. They feel a little bit off balance, like you're juggling things. You got a lot of balls in the air and you're not sure. But with the Two of Pentacles, even though things feel a little chaotic and a little up in the air and you're not quite sure how they're going to land, everything is in perfect balance. Everything is exactly where it is meant to be. So it may feel like you're kind of overwhelmed and juggling a bunch of things, but really everything is in balance and you are right on task. So do your best not to allow that kind of stress and overwhelm to creep in, because you got this. You are like so skilled at what you're doing right now, and it's really important for you to just own that. Okay. Jessica Larkin. So you have one of the soul cards, and I have a hard time saying this in the Druid, Cernunos, but it's the Horned Man. I don't know if you can see him in the background. The lovers from the earlier card are like sleeping, and the Horned Man is coming in. And so what this is telling you is that it is time for you to really go in and connect to nature in your own way, to really connect with the divine masculine in your own way. But it's very much connected to, if there was, a father nature with mother nature, it's really connecting to that energy. And this is a time where, you know, your dreams are super important, because that's where a lot of the energy is coming in for you, is in dream time. And that's where a lot of your team's messages are coming through, being unveiled to you. So make sure that you're listening and paying attention to that. I would keep a journal, a dream journal, if you don't have one, and write down anything significant that you are experiencing in that state, because they're really trying to communicate with you that way. Ashley Staples. Your card is the Wheel. So the wheel is kind of like the Wheel of Fortune, except when you go to spin the wheel, it can literally land on anything. And the wheel is reminding you that you are full of choices and none of them are wrong. So if you're worried about making the right choice, let that go. Because there is no right choice. Every choice that's in front of you right now will help you on your soul's journey, just in a different way. So don't be afraid and stay stuck and not choose, because there's no right and wrong. It's all going to move you forward. So there's actually no risk involved. So just really lean in and feel what feels right to your heart and go for it. Because like I said, there's no wrong answer on that one. All right, Christine Weinman Rossi. Your card is another soul card. It's the World. I love this card. It's really about the fact that your soul has gone through this really tough time, and you are now fully you in your power. So kind of soak this up, this time where everything is available to you. Whatever you are looking for, yearning for, it's all right there. Your manifestation energy is huge right now. So it's like almost as soon as you think it, you can create it. So all of your tools are there. Everything is ready for you. And you're in this sensation and this energy of being complete. So there's no more feeling like you're not enough or you're broken, but you're really in the space of, yeah, I'm complete. I'm me. There's nobody but me. Nice. I love that for you. All right. Margaret Spooner. Your card is the Prince of Pentacles. So the Prince of Pentacles, geez, I can't believe we have any more royalty left. So the Prince is about setting forth on this journey. He feels very stable. So you're moving forward on a new part of your journey and you have what you need the same way other people do, but you have this kind of carefree attitude. But you're still very rooted, very grounded as you're moving forward, making conscious decisions, and ones that are, financially savvy. So just allow yourself the time to move forward in this way because again, you're not like the king of your kingdom, but you don't have fear attached to it. And that's a big part of being in our journey is when we don't have fear, we can move forward so quickly because fear holds us back. And so a prince is just fearless as they go forward. So nice. Deborah Clark Clemens. I think I said that right. Sorry if I didn't, sweetie. Yours is the Five of Cups. The Five of Cups can be a little bit of a tough card depending on your view of things. So the Five of Cups can be a time of grieving. And it's when it shows up that way, it's because we're focused on the past and not what ahead of us in the future. Like we're missing what's behind us and not seeing what's in front of us. So on the card, there are 3 cups of water that are spilled, and there are 2 cups sitting there full, and the person is focused on what has spilled, not what is full. Um, so make sure that you are looking forward in positivity and not looking backwards in negativity, because that really stalls our energy and keeps us from moving forward. In cups, because of all the emotional piece to it, it can feel really overwhelming. It can feel like a little victim-y, kind of like poor me, this bad thing happened to me, and you're focused on the bad thing that happened to you and not the beautiful things that are coming forward in front of you. So look forward, love the past, but look forward and keep moving that way. All right. Lisa Nihan Lily, Nihanlillie. All right. You have the Seven of Wands. So the Seven of Wands is when other people see all the I don't know if you can see that there are like all these swords coming up, and he's standing there with one sword going down. This is when other people are taking sort of like pot shots at you. And you have to be in a place where you're standing, you're at the higher ground. You're holding on to your morals, you're holding on to your beliefs, you're not allowing yourself to cave, and you're not going to go down where they are. If they're going to be, talking negatively and being, gossipy or whatever, it's like that is energetically beneath you. So let them take all their shots at you. It's because of their own insecurities that they're doing it, and really stand your ground, because they can't even get a leg up on you right now. They're so many steps beneath you in terms of their energy and what they're trying to do. And as long as you stay fierce and true to your own beliefs, they don't have anything to say or do that can shift that for you. So, good job. All right, Jacqueline Coster. Your card is the High Priestess. Nice. I definitely see that for you. The High Priestess is really, she is a spiritual woman who's in charge of her own life. She creates her own magic. She is connected to the divine, and she calls all of her power in to move forward on her spiritual journey. It's just telling you to stand in that fierce feminine energy and really allow yourself to own all the tools that you have and all the ways that you can really create change. And think of the high priestess as someone who other people looked up to and really admired and respected their opinions. And they were very one with the divine, masculine and feminine, and really in connection with the earth. So the high priestess really understood our codependent energy with Mother Nature as well. The divine and Mother Nature were all, intertwined. And so really call on that energy within you, because you do have a lot of that high priestess. And she's the one who's ready to move forward on this part of your journey. Nice. All right, Kate Johnson. Ooh, your card is sticky. That's always interesting. The Seven of Cups. So the Seven of Cups is when we have to journey forward. So see how the cups are underneath the water? I don't know if you can see that. And then there's one that's above. And when the Seven of Cups comes along, it's that we have all these emotional connections to other people, to other things, but it's time for us to move forward. It's sometimes time for us to leave our friends and our family so that we can move forward our own journey. It doesn't mean that we don't love them, because we're still filled with love for them, but we have to be filled with our own cup, with our own self-love, and walk forward in our self-love. And there are times when our family or our friends don't get it, that we need to take a journey on our own as part of our soul's growth. But when we stand in our own strength, we're filled with love for other people, but we love ourselves enough to move forward independently of them. All right? All right, Carol Ruh, R-U-H. And your card is the Seven of Pentacles. Nice. So the Seven of Pentacles is really when you've gone through a period of really hard work and you're starting to get paid for it. You're starting to get noticed for it. You're starting to move into a place of mastery where other people are really asking your opinion, and you're very comfortable within yourself. So I love this card for you because it's really about finally being comfortable in your own skin, and other people respecting that about you and for you. So enjoy that. Really take time to feel like you are the master of your own life, because you are. And you don't have to learn from anybody else anymore. You've got everything that you need. Nice. All right. And my last card is for Christina. And her card is the Lady. Nice. So the Lady, I always think, I don't know, she's very pregnant in this card. I don't know if you can see that. That's not an indication of anything, in case mom or dad's watching. But the Lady is really filled with the earth energy. She's really filled with Mother Nature and how connected she is. So she's an earth mama. And the earth mama rules her own kingdom in a particular way. She's very in connection with the earth. She's very in connection with her own body and what needs to happen. And so she's the lady of the kingdom. And everybody turns to her for advice, for nurturing, for guidance. And she is able to share that with all of them. So how cool is that? Like really step into that like mama goddess energy. I love that. Woo! All right. And Shirley Turner. Nice. Squeaking it in there. 9 of Wands, my dear. Boy, a lot of these battle ones. So the 9 of Wands is you've gone through rough stuff lately. You know, there's been a lot of conflict and turmoil around you. But you're in a place where the battle is over. You may be a little battle weary, but it's done. And just know that even though, you know, you may have wounds from that, try not to focus on the wound, but on the fact that you got through it and that you can finally stop and move forward rather than having to butt heads constantly with other people. So really, I invite you to kind of take a breather and give yourself some space to um, relax because it seems like it was very stressful for you having to deal with that for quite a bit of time. So yeah, take a break and the battle's over. All right. So we're all done for the evening. Thanks for hanging in here for the special card draw. And glitches happen. That's how the divine works. And but thanks again for tuning back in. And we will see you next week on Thursday night again because of the full moon and the spring equinox. I will see you on Thursday night at 7. All right. Bye, guys. See you then.